Spendthrift Farm introduces new for 2019, the Safe Bet Program. Breed to a fourth-year stallion and watch his first crop of two-year-olds have measurable success on the track in 2019, or you won't owe the stud fee when your foal is born. Visit spendthriftfarm.com/safebet to learn more. Spendthrift, the breeder's farm. Hi everybody, welcome to Keeneland Babies, presented by Spendthrift, the breeder's farm. I'm Dan Illman along with Nicole Russo, and we'll take a look at one of two Keeneland Babies races scheduled for Thursday. We'll kick off the pick 4 with race number 6, and we'll take a look at the field of these 2-year-olds going 4.5 furlongs in this maiden special weight. Wesley Ward has 2 in here. You always have to respect a Ward-trained first-time starter, and Spendthrift is represented by the 5 Fast Verdict. He is by Hampton Court, who stands at the Spendthrift Satellite in Australia. We'll begin in post-position order with the number 1, Johnny Unleashed. And Johnny Unleashed was unleashed in his career debut. He showed big speed to clear the field in the early portion of that race, and he took that field to inside the 16th pole before being overwhelmed late. He ran a really nice second, and he should show big speed from the rail again.
Absolutely. You know, the thing I loved about Johnny Unleashed run is that he was very, very green that whole day. Through the paddock experience, he was nervous. He was on his toes in the post parade. You know, he really seemed to be one of these 2-year-olds who was sort of like, what is going on? And I think having that experience under his belt, he's going to be a lot more confident coming into his second start. Ran a really good second when he showed that speed to the very well-meant Alec and Arthur, who is going to graduate up to stakes company next week, Churchill Downs. That's the plan. I think Johnny Unleashed is a really quality horse, and I've really been looking for him to run back.
The number 2 is a Louisiana-bred son of Half Hours named Half Moon Reef. And Nicole, there's speed on top of this pedigree. Half Hours, 17% winners with 2-year-old first-time starters, and speed on the bottom as well. The second dam, a graded stakes place sprinter named Exit to Heaven, who won the career debut. I'm going to take sort of a wait-and-see approach until I see what this horse's workmate Topless does on Wednesday before I make my final decision on Half Moon Reef, but there is speed and it is a great trainer.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, just at a glance at this pedigree without even digging back into the second dam, you see all of that speed. Half Hours, such a fast horse, and he's been a very good juvenile sire. And then you see broodmare sire Henny Hughes right there, who was, you know, a grade 1 performing 2-year-old in his own right, very fast horse. Yeah, speed is the impression here. One of the Wesley Ward trained runners is a filly taking on the boys. We don't worry about that with Wesley Ward. He has had tremendous success with fillies against the boys in 2-year-old races. And the number 3 is Kamari, a daughter of Munnings, who has been working swiftly. This one sold for $152,000. The dam was a grade 3 stakes winner sprinting on Polytrack. Ward is 15 for 25 over the past 2 years with Keeneland Babies, first-time starters. And it looks like that March 27th work went in company with Chili Peaton, who came back to win first time out. So there's a lot to like, obviously, for this filly, except the price. Yeah, a lot of bullet works in there. I think this one is very well meant. Munnings, a very good juvenile sire. He's had a juvenile winner at this meet for Ward and the impressive Lady Pauline. I mean, there's case in point right there. And I will interject that not only am I not worried about Wesley Ward fillies taking on the boys, I'm not worried about fillies taking on the boys at this point of the year in general. I think later in the year it starts to become a little bit more of an issue as horses mature at different rates. But right about now in these shorter races, I do think they can all be on sort of a level playing field. Perhaps a sneaky long shot to complete your exotics is the 4, Musta Never Met U. This is a son of Discreet Cat who only sold for $2,500. But I'm willing to throw that running line out on April the 5th. He broke pretty well, and then he had to snatch up when he was checked down along the inside. And jockey Malcolm Franklin really didn't persevere much with the horse afterwards. This barn can send out a couple of long shots that can hit the board. And you look at this pedigree, the dam's a half-sister to Spring in the Air, who is a Canadian champion 2-year-old filly.
Yeah, and I mean, if you believe experience counts, then I mean, this one has gone out there, gone through the whole routine, had perhaps a good learning race, sort of dealing with the traffic trouble there, and that Lady Pauline race. Of course, we're anticipating that she's going to come back and start at Royal Ascot as a really anticipated horse. I believe the runner-up Two Dot came back and ran a decent third last week. There's a couple in here who are coming out of that race where that just no one was going to get near the winner who ran off the screen.
The 5 is Fast Verdict, a Louisiana bred by Spendthrift Satellite Stallion Hampton Court. And Hampton Court already has a debut winner in Mexico. What should we expect from Hampton Court? He was a quality horse on turf in Australia.
Yeah, and Hampton Court was a quality 2-year-old in his own right, a Group 1 winning 2-year-old in Australia. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if his 2-year-olds run well. That being said, obviously, a turf-oriented stallion. So I'm expecting these horses to start showing up a little bit more as we start carting 2-year-old races for juveniles into the summer and fall. The impression Fast coming barn. Talked a little bit about these horses. They come in with 3 works or 2 works, and that really gives me the impression that the barn is using the race for fitness purposes and for experience.
And a couple of these workouts match up, perhaps in company with a filly that was entered on Wednesday for this barn named You Got a Notion. You might want to check out how You Got a Notion did before making your final verdict on Fast Verdict. The 6 is Crypto, also trained by Wesley Ward, $38,000 yearling buyback by Bodemeister, 9% winners with 2-year-old first-time starters. The Dam was stakes placed on turf, but we won the debut sprinting on dirt. Very versatile family. Doesn't matter whether it's turf or dirt, but you just get the feeling that the other Ward seems more precocious and speedy.
I think the other Ward looks more speedy, especially evaluating the work tab. However, in intent with this horse, I look at him and I see, some of the turf and synthetic in the family, especially with exchange rate there close up. I see Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners. I see Wesley Ward. I know everybody involved would love to go over to Royal Ascot, so I'm wondering if they're trying, if this horse is going to be well meant early to try to graduate and get to some bigger targets down the line.
The number 7, Not Again Jackie, I thought ran deceptively well in that Lady Pauline race on April the 5th. He was bet down from 12 to 8 to 1 as they went into the gate, and then he broke terribly. And when you're far back in these 4.5 furlong races, you don't have a lot of chance, but he moved 3 wide on the turn under his own power, swung to the outside, and seemed to be rallying really well late. Now, he's coming back in 20 days. The blinkers on are going to hope to get him out of the gate, give him a little more focus and a little bit more speed. John Hancock can win with a 2-year-old here.
Yeah, and Tyler Gaffleone has been riding really well this meet at Keeneland. Ran, like you said, I think deceptively well is a good way to put this. Finishing 4th there, but really showing some running here and there in various places. And this one one eligible to move forward with the experience, I think.
City Front also comes out of that Lady Pauline race. This is a son of Summer Front, and he actually showed a little bit of speed in that race. He was sitting 4th behind a 3-ply pace battle, and then he bore out badly turning into the stretch, just showing that greenness that a lot of these 2-year-olds have, and he flattened out in the final furlong. That race was over a wet track. I think this horse will eventually do better at slightly longer distances, although there is some precocity on the bottom of this pedigree.
There is some precocity, but this one I think might want ground and might want a little bit of turf. Being by Summerfront, a son of Warfront, obviously a multi-purpose sire and an outstanding 2-year-old sire. Summerfront did his best running on the turf. I'm wondering if this one might prefer some different ground on the line.
Check out the pedigree on the 9 Al Cools. This is a gelded son of gemologist who wins 14% of the time with 2-year-old first-time starters. This dam has been extremely productive. She's foaled Majestic Dunhill, who's a stakes-winning sprinter on both turf and dirt. She's foaled Hog Creek Hustle, a debut winner sprinting who's Grade 3 stakes place routing. The second dam was a stakes-winning sprinter. There's a lot of pedigree here. It's just that the Wayne Rice train runners, again, usually need a race. It appears that this gelding's been working in company with a couple of the Rice horses that are entered on Wednesday, so you can keep an eye on those.
And yeah, I think watching the workmates is going to be key here because this one really has a solid work tab underneath there, with a 3 furlong bullet move a couple of works back, a bullet move on synthetic, several works back. This one really kind of a solid work tab and might be kind of a sneaky horse despite the barn's reputation.
Kick off the pick 4 with race number 6 at Keeneland on Thursday, the first of 2 Keeneland Babies races on the card. Who do you like?
Well, we discussed Kamari's work tab. I think she's going to be formidable and she's very well meant. But my top pick is going to be Johnny Unleashed. As I said, I've been waiting for this horse to run back off his debut. Showed a lot despite being very green that day. And I think he's going to move forward off the experience.
Boy, he should show good speed. I really respect Johnny Unleashed in this spot, but I've been hearing nothing but good things about this filly, Kamari. I don't expect much of a price with Kamari in this race, but I guess she'll be my tepid top selection. I'm also interested to see how the 2 Half Moon Reef runs in his debut for Steve Asmus, and I like the speed on both sides of this pedigree. Race number 6 again is one of 2 Keeneland Babies races scheduled for Thursday, and all of the Keeneland Babies races this meet presented by Spendthrift, the Breeders' Farm.